All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. We are the New Wave Disruptors, and our presentation today is going to revolve around Elina Valtonen. She is the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Finland in regards to her courage, clarity, and the future of diplomacy. Have you ever found yourself in a group of friends, strangers, or perhaps a bit of both, and the conversation takes you to a place where you're uncomfortable? Uncomfortable because the topic goes against your beliefs? Have you ever been challenged by someone after you spoke up about a truth that to you embodies your very being? Maybe they had a solid point. Maybe they were in an environment where you didn't feel a true sense of belonging, which caused you to back down sheepishly. Or were you ever in a position of rising above the odds, like getting the job you didn't think you could? Your confidence likely reached a high point initially, but once the dust cleared, you realized you're either in over your head or the result is nothing like you imagined. If you answered yes to any of these, you may need to reflect inward to understand how you got there. You're also within the majority. Confidence can be a very powerful thing, but it can be incredibly difficult to build up. Sometimes it will come to you when you least expect it, but the true foundation of confidence is built incrementally throughout your life. This confidence is what's going to help you truly, in any situation, stand up for what you believe in, regardless of the odds or situation. That's what we're going to play out for you today, through the lens of a truly confident and well-cultured leader from Finland, Elina Valtonen. As I mentioned, confidence and a general belief in self is built or destroyed throughout our life experiences, which Elina has in spades. From how you were parented, which jobs you've had, the friends you've had, and your life experiences pave the way for that confidence brick by brick. Each of us will be outlining different aspects of Elena's story so far and how those experiences have built her into one of the more inspiring world leaders out there today. I'll be going over her roots of resilience. Parker will be discussing her professional metamorphosis. Sadie will go over how she stands up against the odds. And then Tyler will round us out with the power of personal reinvention. Now, Elina didn't start out wanting to be the Finnish Minister of Foreign Affairs, though she may have subconsciously been clued into the importance of foreign relationships while her father was a press officer for the Finnish embassy in Bonn, West Germany, back in the 1990s. Spending that time in Bonn gave Elina the opportunity to develop her fluency in the German language, which, along with her native Finnish, she would eventually add English, French, and Swedish to her language toolbox. While it's well known that the Europeans are generally more well-versed in foreign languages than Americans, the confidence built by mastering a language at such a young age has the ability to catapult you into life with an understanding of what it means to succeed. Her first steps in the job market really outline how truly integrational she was. Starting as a programmer, she's also built out experience as an entrepreneur, a business angel, tour guide, and even selling lottery tickets. These jobs spawned a love for innovation and sharpened her empathy skills. By interacting with people from all walks of life, she would begin to understand various business strategies, motivations, and communication skills. Couple those lessons with empathy and confidence, and you've got a strong foundation for leadership.
Having laid those deep roots of resilience, Elena Valtonen's career began to transform with each new chapter or challenge, reshaping not only her own path, but the way politics, economics, and diplomacy intersect. Imagine an 8-year-old trailing her father through the grand corridors of the Finnish embassy in Bonn. What is her father negotiates quietly, translates adaptly, and builds trust across language barriers. What could be a future leader who, decades later, would carry the same grace into international negotiations, grounding policy in empathy and human connection, rather than mere power dynamics. Fast forward to Helsinki's top technical and business schools, where governments and markets wrestle with social welfare and fiscal discipline. What is Europe in economic flux? Academics debating the Keynes verse codes, which is a macroeconomic school of thought arguing that aggregated demand drives growth. What could be a technologist and economist who envisions the life account, a digitally managed welfare system that marries individual freedoms with collective support, proving that real change demands both data and heart. Then came the crucible of high-stakes finance. At Nordea as a senior analyst and later as a director at the Royal Bank of Scotland, Valtonen faces spreadsheets worth billions and stakeholders with competing agendas. What is boardrooms echoing with risk assessments and deal-making jargon, and what could be a proving ground for systems-level thinking where mastering complexity and forging consensus would become the bedrock of her diplomatic toolkit. Finally, in 2023, Finland stood at a geopolitical crossroads, and Elena stepped in to what the European Commission's biennial summit in Turin, Italy, as Minister of Foreign Affairs. What is a senior economist turned first-time foreign minister confronting new global fault lines. What could be a finance-minded diplomat who engineers alliances as tactfully as she once structured capital flows, ushering in a model of data-driven diplomacy anchored by principle. This metamorphosis from embassy hallways to banking boardrooms to the world stage did more than prepare her for a ministerial role. It sets the stage for the moment when she would stand up against the odds, guided by the very skills she honed in each chapter of her evolving career. A professional metamorphosis invites leaders to view each career pivot not as a hurdle in your path, but as an opportunity to cultivate new strengths. Each challenge, from navigating complex negotiations to mastering analytical systems to building strategic alliances, layers empathy, precision, and collaborative vision. True leadership emerged for Elena when data-driven insights aligns with human connection, turning intricate systems into shared solutions. By treating transformation as a fuel rather than a hurdle, we ignite adaptability, creativity, and collective empowerment. This universal revelation that our most significant impact springs from continuous reinvention becomes the guiding principles for leaders, teams, and communities seeking lasting change.
Standing up against the odds. Resilience is one thing, but standing firm when the world is watching, the pressure is mounting, and the stakes are diplomatic is another level entirely. Alina isn't just the product of diverse life experiences. She's an active architect of her own convictions. And in the face of political complexity and global scrutiny, she continues to show us what it means to lead with both courage and clarity. One powerful example of this is her invitation to the Bilderberg meeting, a highly exclusive forum that brings together the world's most influential leaders across politics, academia, and industry. These discussions are off the record by design because they challenge traditional boundaries and push global thinking forward. For Valtonen to be seated at that table means her voice isn't just being heard, it's helping shape international narratives. Confidence in the public arena. But she doesn't just talk about her ideas, she builds them. A key example of this is her proposal called the Life Account, a digitally managed welfare system that reimagines how governments support citizens. Instead of choosing between personal freedom and collective care, Valtonen finds a way to integrate both. It's bold, it's data-driven, and it's deeply human. It reflects her larger belief that governance doesn't have to be cold or rigid. It can be both innovative and empathetic. Strength under fire. That same clarity shows up in how she campaigns. In her most recent parliamentary run, Alina raised the largest election campaign budget in Finland's history, 179,000 euros. She didn't get there by watering down her platform. She doubled down on it. Her bold, transparent messaging resonated with supporters, proof that principled leadership can attract real momentum.
What if one day you realize that your professional identity just doesn't line up with yourself anymore? What would you do? Will you continue to push through life, or do you find the courage to reinvent yourself? Well, for Helena, she redefined herself as one of Finland's most strongest and powerful leaders. As mentioned previously, her career has consisted of experience in finance and technology. However, in 2016, she ran for a leadership position in the National Coalition Party. With only 15% of the voting pool, Helena lost. Instead of wallowing in her sorrows, Helena built momentum as an emerging politician and worked her way into parliament through representing the Uusimaa constituency. She utilized this experience working in committees to gain insight into Finland's governmental infrastructure consisting of finance, foreign affairs, and national defense. Her interest in those committees later launched a platform for her political career down the line. Additionally, Elena would go on to be the chair of the board of Libra, a pro-free market think tank from 2015 until 2021, helping shape the economic policy debates. She also co-authored Societal Reports, and in 2018, she published Freedom's Victory, which became a top-selling nonfiction. In September of 2020, Helena was elected vice chair of the National Coalition Party, positioning herself among the party's top leadership after her early setback. Helena was faced with redefining herself personally in the midst of her gaining momentum in politics. In the same month, Valtonen filed for a divorce from her ex-husband. She would go on and later change her surname back to her maiden name. She ran in 2021's municipal elections in Helsinki and was elected to the Helsinki City Council, increasing her local visibility and grounding her in municipal governance. In the 2021 municipal election, she won the second highest number of votes in Helsinki and was elected a member of its city council. In the parliament elections of 2023, Valtonen raised the largest election campaign budget. Following the NCP victory in the 2023 parliamentary elections, she was appointed Prime Minister for Foreign Affairs in June of 2023. As our team concludes, Helena's story is not just about political affiliation. It's about the kind of leadership that dares to evolve in public. After facing defeat in her party's leadership race back in 2016, she could have stepped back or stayed comfortable in her career field. However, instead, she did something more powerful. She reinvented herself professionally and personally. She chose to utilize her life experiences to rebrand herself. What makes her leadership worth paying attention to is not just her title as Minister for Foreign Affairs. It is her ability to merge her educational and professional experience with empathy, advocacy, and ethical leadership. Elena's path teaches us that real leadership embraces the unknown. Her journey is a reminder that reinvention is not a weakness, it's actually a strength. So when the concept of leadership in the 21st century regarding Elena Valtonen, let's remember how she chose to grow. Because if there's anything her story shows us, it is the most powerful leaders just don't adapt to the world that they are in. They reinvent themselves to lead it towards what it could be. I would like to leave off with this quote. This quote is by Maya Angelou. It is a great reminder for those who are aspiring to reinvent themselves in their aspects of their life. I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. Let that sink in. Thank you.